solving absolute value functions. So when you have an absolute value function like this, you have to write two equations and solve both of them. So you write the first one as 4x plus 1 equals 3, and then the second one as 4x plus 1, and you make it equal -3. Now you solve both of them, so this gives you 4x equals 2. Since moving the 1 to the other side, we change it to -1. Divide both sides by 4, you get x to equal 1/2. And this one, you move the 1 to the other side, so it becomes 4x equals -4. And divide both sides by 4, you get x to equal -1. Now, you have to go back and test the half into here and test the -1 into there. So if you go 4 times a half plus 1 equals 3. 4 times a half is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So you get 3. Absolute value equals 3. And therefore 3 equals 3. That's good. If we use the -1, so if we test the -1, we're going to get 4 times -1 plus 1 equals 3. That's -4 plus 1 equals 3. We get -3 absolute value equals 3, and the absolute value of -3 is just 3. So you get 3 equals 3. That's check. Both of them work. So that's the answer for that one. You always have to go back and check that both roots work. Otherwise, you call the root that doesn't work an extraneous root. So that's that for this one. I'm just gonna erase. I'm gonna go to the second one. This one also use the same strategy. So you write two equations. You write the first one is 2x plus 1 equals 3 minus x. And the other equation we write 2x plus 1. Sorry, that's a -1 here. I'm just gonna change that to minus. 2x minus 1 equals, you have to throw a negative in front of the right side. That's what you do every time. So you just keep everything the same, get rid of the absolute value. The second time you rewrite it, but instead of 3 minus x, you throw a negative in front of the whole thing. So now if we move this -x to this side, it will give us 3x. And if we move the -1 to this side, it will give us 4. And then you divide both sides by 3. X equals 4/3. Now this one here, you'll have 2x minus 1 equals -3 plus x. Move this x to this side, so it becomes minus x. 2x minus x is x. And if you move this -1 to the other side, it becomes +1. So -3 plus 1 gives us -2. Now we test. If we test the 4/3, we'll have the absolute value of 4, or the absolute value of the absolute value of 2 times 4/3 minus 1 equals 3 minus 4/3. 2 times 4/3 is 8/3. The absolute value of 8/3 minus 1 doesn't equal 3 minus 4/3. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna make this over 1 minus 4/3. Just gonna take it here, and now we have still that's inside the absolute value, and that's inside the absolute value right there. Oops, sorry, I just clarify that. That's this the absolute value right here, and the absolute value right now. So this is 1/1, so it becomes 8/3 minus 3/3 absolute value, which gives us 5/3. Absolute value on the other side will be 3. So that will be 9/3 when you make common denominator. minus 4 over 3, what gives us 5 over 3. And since the absolute value of 5 over 3 is just going to be 5 over 3, so 5 over 3 equals 5 over 3. This one is checked. Now let's test the -2, and I'm just going to take this to this side. Testing the -2, you'll have 2 times -2 absolute value, minus 1 absolute value, 3 minus -2. This here will give me a -4 minus 1 absolute value, and this will give me 5. This is going to be a -5 absolute value equals 5, and therefore the absolute value of -5 is 5 equals 5, and that's checked, so both of them work. I'll move on to the next question, so I'm just going to erase what I've done here. Doesn't really matter, we could just move on to the next question here, almost done. The next question right here is same thing, you follow the same strategy, you rewrite this twice. The first time you just keep it as 2x squared without the absolute value, plus x minus 12 equals 9. And the other time you write 2x squared plus x minus 12 equals, you throw a negative in front of the other side. Now you gotta solve both of them. So here it'll be 2x squared plus x minus 21 equals 0. This here will be 2x squared plus x minus 3 equals 0. This here factors, two numbers multiply to give me -6, because 2 times -3, and add to give me 1. They are x plus 3, x minus 2. Because we have a 2 in the front here, we'd have to divide the 3 by 2 and the 2 by 2. So here it doesn't divide, just becomes 2x plus 3. And this divides, so it becomes x minus 1 still equals 0. So x equals -3/2 or 1. This one here, what multiplies to give me -42 and adds to give me 1. It's because 2 times -21, so what multiplies to give me -42. I'm just gonna rewrite this. -42 and add to give me 1. So the two numbers will be x plus 7 and x minus 6. Again, because of the 2 there, we have to divide both sides by 2 by 2. And this will give me 2x plus 7, as I said, push the 2 in front of the x there. This divides here, so it'll give me x minus 3 equals 0. So my factors here are x equals -7/2 and 3. Now we have to go back and test. So I'm just gonna maybe do two questions right here, because the testing here is gonna take a little bit of effort. So testing, I'm just gonna test the numbers that are not fractions first, because they're easier to work with. So testing the original, of course, so I'm gonna test 1. So 2 times 1 squared plus 1 minus 12 absolute value equals 9. That's 1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 minus 12 is -9. Absolute value equals 9, and that will give you 9 equals 9. So this one here, the one is definitely, where am I? Right here, this one works. Now I'm gonna do the 3. So 2 times 3 squared plus 1 minus 12 equals 9. So that's 9 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 1 is 19. Sorry, so 3 squared is 9 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 1 is 19. And 19, sorry, that's a 3 right there, because I'm subbing 3n for the x. So that's 2 times 3 squared plus 3 minus 12. So 3 squared is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 3 is 21. 21 minus 12 is 9. Absolute value equals 9. And yes, that's gonna be a 9 equals 9. So the 3 also works. Now we're gonna test the negative 3 halves. So we have the absolute value of 2 times negative 3 halves squared plus and minus, it just becomes minus 3 halves minus 12. And we want to see if that equals 9. That is absolute value of 2 squared the fraction. You just square the top and bottom. So 9 over 4 minus 3 halves minus 12. Absolute value is does it equal 9? So the 2 reduces with the 4. That's 1. And that just gives me 2. So basically we have absolute value of 9 over 2 minus 3 over 2 minus 12 absolute value. Absolute value. So 9 over 2 minus 3 over 2 just gives me 6 over 2. And 6 over 2 is 3. 3 minus 12 gives me absolute value of negative 9, which is 9 equals 9. And negative 3 halves also check. Now, do we have enough room to test the, I'm just gonna erase actually some of this. So tested. And we're gonna test the last fraction, which is the negative 7 halves, and see if it works. So the absolute value of 2 times negative 7 halves squared plus minus negative 7 halves just becomes minus 7 halves minus 12. Absolute value, does that equal 9? So that is 2 times, when you're squaring a fraction, square the top and the bottom, so 49 over 4 minus 7 halves minus 12 absolute value. Now you reduce the 2 with the 4, and the 4 becomes 2. Now you have the absolute value of 49 over 2 minus 7 over 2 minus 12. Value 49 minus 7 is 42. 42 over 2, that is 21 over, yeah, so that's 21 minus 12. 21 minus 12 gives you the absolute value of 9, which gives you 9 equals 9. All of them are check. So all of these roots work. Till next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.